Hello everyone and welcome to another channel update video. This one for March 2021. I hope you all are doing great. I hope you all are finally having some spring weather if you live in the northern hemisphere. We finally started getting spring here in northern Idaho and it has been wonderful. Kids have been playing outside all the time, so yay. Anyways, so I know I just recently did a channel update. Like back at the beginning of January, and not much has happened on the actual channel since then. However, a lot has been going on behind the scenes, and so I thought it was about time to clue you guys in, since I know there are some of you who have been wondering what's been going on since I announced in January that I'm switching my channel over to exclusively role-playing, and that I was going to bring out some new roleplay series, and that was a few months ago, and so far, nothing new has shown up. Now, I just want to say that I have been posting and keeping you guys updated in the community tab here on the channel as things happen. I always like to keep you guys updated there, so for some of you who have been reading those posts, the stuff that I'm going to share today isn't exactly news. But I really have no idea how many of you guys actually read my community posts. There isn't a view counter on those posts, unfortunately. It only counts likes. And, you know, as of the last time I checked, my last couple news posts only had something like 70 likes. So I know that at least 70 of you know what's been going on. But I'm fairly certain that the majority of you guys don't actually read the community tab. So this channel update is for you guys, but I do highly recommend keeping an eye on the community tab. Okay, it's where I keep you guys up to date on what's been going on with the channel and with me. Like if there's a video late, or if I have anything going on, any exciting news to share, or anything just going on with me, you'll hear about it on the community tab first. And then after enough news has accumulated over a couple of months or so, I compile it all into a channel update video. So I don't have to make a bunch of tiny videos along the way. It's just better for my channel that way. And on that note, just a bit of information on how YouTube works. It's the reason YouTube made the community tab in the first place, so creators don't have to make little announcement videos every time they want to tell their viewers something. Since for channels with lengthier content like mine especially, really short videos like that actually harm our channels. It throws off my watch time averages. Since my channel has a pretty decent watch time because my videos are much longer, throwing a 3 or 4 minute video in there just messes up the averages, and it makes it look like I have a lot less watch time than I actually do. And so YouTube interprets that to mean that people don't watch my videos, which makes YouTube think that no one likes my videos, which means they won't promote them as much. So yeah, that's why I stopped making the short news bites that I used to do before the community tab was a thing. And now I just save up a couple months worth of news so that my channel update videos are at least 20 minutes long, usually longer, and I post in the community tab in between. So if you want the most up-to-date news, the community tab is where it's at. Or you can also check out the announcements channel on my Discord server. And the link for that is in the description. I post the same stuff over there as well. So anyway, I just wanted to let you guys know that, because the community tab, I feel like the community tab isn't a very well-known thing by a lot of people on YouTube who watch YouTube. And so I just kind of like to put it out there whenever I have a chance. Yeah, hey, I have a community tab. Look at it. Anyway, back to the channel update. A lot has happened in the last few months for me. So this video is probably definitely going to be longer than 20 minutes. I'll just say that right now. But I hope you stick to the end, because I do have a lot of stuff to talk about. So the first bit of news is about me and what's been going on in my life, since it directly affects the channel, or has affected the channel in the past few months. And then after that, I will talk about channel related news and what you guys can expect coming in the near future. So My last channel update video was on January 4th, I think it was, something like that. And literally the next week, on the 9th, I tested positive for COVID. Yeah, it wasn't the worst it could have been, obviously. I didn't have to go to the hospital, and I'm better now, but I was literally bedridden for 3 weeks with a list of horrible symptoms that I won't go into here. And even now, since then, I mean, I've recovered and I've gotten back to work and I'm pretty much normal, relatively speaking. I can do most things that I used to do. But I'm still having a hard time doing active things like housework or walking longer distances, like when I have to go grocery shopping. I get really tired out. I get out of breath. And apparently that's a common side effect, I guess, of having had COVID. It takes some people a long time to recover their lung capacity again. So I've been really struggling with that. And there are days when I feel worse than others. Most of the time I feel okay. And as long as I'm just doing work in my office, sitting at my desk, working on videos or stuff like that, I'm fine. I feel completely normal. But yeah, the active stuff, I'm still having a hard time with. They call it something like long-term COVID-19 syndrome, where some people continue experiencing symptoms for weeks or even months after initially recovering from the virus. And then the most common of these symptoms is shortness of breath and muscle pain, which I still experience both quite frequently. So there are some days still where I can barely breathe at all, like an asthma attack. And my doctor actually gave me an inhaler for those instances, and I have had to use it, unfortunately. And other post-COVID symptoms that are common are headaches and sleep issues, which I've also been experiencing. I have migraine-level headaches almost twice a week, and I haven't had a normal night's sleep since I got sick. So there are some days I just wake up and feel like crap, and I don't really get out of bed on those days. So it's kind of touch and go still, but overall, I am definitely improving. I notice each week that I feel better than the week before. I mean, just the other day, my family and I went on a walk in the park for the first time this year, and I felt great. I wasn't short of breath the whole time, amazingly enough. I felt like crap the next day, but in that moment, I felt great because I had done something I haven't been able to do in months. So I'm definitely getting steadily better every day, so that's good news. Now, the not so great news is that I basically lost, a month and a half of my life because I was bedridden for 3 weeks, and then it was another 2 weeks after that where I was still recovering before I felt well enough to fully get back to my regular work schedule. I started out only being capable of like an hour of work in a single day, and then taking the next day off, and then another hour the day after that, and then I gradually was able to increase that over time. And now I'm back to my usual 4 or 5 hours most days of the week working on my channel. So that's good. I'm back to my normal workflow, basically, with the occasional down day when my symptoms flare up. Some of you guys may have noticed videos being late quite often over the last several weeks. And that is why. There are some days I still, where I just can't, And that's okay. That's okay, because I do know that my health comes first before the channel, as so many of you have told me, and I appreciate your guys' patience and understanding. It definitely takes a load off my mind to know that, I don't have to worry. I don't have to push myself to meet deadlines when I'm feeling like crap. You guys will still be here when I return, so I thank you all for that. Anyway, I know I've gone on about this and probably gotten a little more personal about it than some of you were expecting, but I just wanted to tell you all this so that you can know why my channel has been, not dead lately, but quiet. It's been quiet. With only the Fallout 76 roleplay going on every week. So just one video a week for a while now. And, I had literally just announced the big changes coming to the channel and promised new role plays, and then nothing for months. So yeah, that's why I got COVID. And I figured you guys deserved to know. Although I didn't completely stop my work during that time. I just stopped doing work that required me to sit at my desk, which includes recording new videos. So I relied on my previously recorded backlog during that time, and it was an extensive backlog for both Fallout 76 and The Last of Us 2. But unfortunately, The Last of Us 2 ran out near the end of my convalescence, and I wasn't able to record more episodes. I could technically record more now, I just haven't yet for different reasons. So The Last of Us 2 has actually been on a break, a deliberate break, for a few weeks now, and it will continue to be on one for a while. I don't know how long the break will be. There are several factors that will determine that, and I'll talk about that in a bit. But don't worry, it will come back, I promise. I have every intention of finishing that game because I've really enjoyed playing it, and I do want to see how it ends. So yeah, just some other stuff has to happen first. And you all have nothing to worry about the Fallout 76 roleplay. The backlog that we've had for that one was huge, and because we started recording episodes of that several months before I actually started uploading them, and so I had a huge backlog, and it was still huge by the time we started recording again a few weeks ago after I got better. So we're recording that again, almost every week, not quite, but we usually record, at least 1 or 2 episodes per session. So that's really good. I'm glad that I had all of those videos pre-recorded, and I didn't have to worry about the channel while I was sick. That really was a lifesaver, and it just helped me to be able to just relax and rest and get better and not have to worry about everything. But even though I wasn't working in my office for over a month, I wasn't completely idle in regards to my channel, because I can't be idle. I can't just lie there and do nothing. So I still spent most of the days that I was sick working on my laptop in bed. There were only about 5 days out of those 3 weeks where I was just completely out of it and I couldn't do anything, and I pretty much just slept. Yeah, there were only about 5 days like that. The rest of the time I could sit up in bed and work on my laptop just fine. I just didn't have enough lung capacity to get up and move around is all. So I did. I worked a lot on planning the new role plays that I promised in January, those being the second season of Ellie's Tale in Fallout 4, as well as the new Skyrim roleplay. And I have been working on those almost every day since that announcement that I made in January. Luckily, there was actually a lot of work that I could do that had nothing to do with recording or mod testing or anything like that. I had a lot of stuff to write out, like character arcs that I wanted to explore, and possible story threads that could happen. I can't plan the story out like 100% like a movie or anything, since there's a lot of randomness involved. I mean, it is Fallout and Skyrim, and they're both pretty random when it comes to what happens in any given play session. And the nature of my roleplays dictates that I follow that random path. But there are some things I can plan, more or less, like character arcs. I know, where my character is at the start, and I know where I want her to be by the end. And there are certain, things that have to happen in order for her to travel that arc. And then also some story points, I guess you could call them, like if such and such were to occur randomly, then this would happen because of it. Or when Ellie reaches certain points of quests, this is how she might react to it, and this is probably what would happen because of it. Things like that I can kind of plan in. And because I do want Ellie to go through a definite and specific character arc throughout Season 2, I sort of have to plan in points where that arc shifts and advances, or else it might not happen, or like it might happen too slow, or it might happen too fast, and I don't want it to happen too fast or slow. So I have to plan in exactly when certain points of her arc changes. while still leaving everything in between those points up to the randomness of the game. And really the only way that I can do that with any certainty is at major quest points. So basically, I spent hours upon hours on my laptop in bed reading through quest chains on the Fallout 4 wiki so that I remember every stage of every quest, and making notes about how Ellie's character arc should have advanced by the time she reaches those quest points. It's basically just a guide for me so that I can keep the main theme and story of Season 2 on track, no matter what else might be going on in each episode. And for Skyrim, I had to come up with a whole new character, backstory, build, and story arc from scratch, since I'll be starting over in Skyrim with a whole new character. So that was fun to try and figure out and write. So, all of that, because I'm a writer and working on that kind of thing really inspires me and gets me excited. And it kept my brain active while I was sick. It just kept me in the mood, and it kept me, I don't know, it was just better for me to do that than to just sit there in bed and watch TV for 3 weeks, really. It kept me productive. And seriously, when you're sick, I mean, I'm sure all of you know, when you're sick, it's like the worst, especially when you have so much work to do, but you just can't do it. Just being idle. I don't know if it's like that for everybody. Some people might enjoy getting the time off from work when they're sick, but I don't. I can't stand it. I have to be doing something. Being idle just drives me up the wall. So I was really grateful that I had this work that I could do on my laptop while I was resting. It really helped to pass the time. And I had a lot of time on my hands, not just the daytime, but the nighttime too, because I couldn't sleep at all when I was sick. Like, I only got a few hours of sleep per night, so I was up all night, but I was working. I was being productive, so it wasn't a waste of time. And it was all work that I needed to do before I could even, start recording new episodes, so that was really good. And then another thing that I did while I was sick was I finished cataloging all of the companion dialogue lines. And if you didn't know, in my Fallout 4 Season 1, I would often add bits of dialogue for the companions, like Paladin Dance and Nick Valentine, so it felt more natural. The companions would sometimes respond to Ellie's comments while they're traveling through the world, and, I would even make up some non-vanilla conversations between Ellie and Dance. It was all added in post using the characters' voice files that I extracted from the game. And in order to easily find the right files that I needed, I had to listen to each voice file, and there are thousands of them. And then in a spreadsheet, I would write down the line and the tone it was spoken in and the name of the audio file. And I would put all of these lines into different categories so that they would be easier to find when I needed them. Now, as you can probably guess, this is extremely time-consuming and extremely tedious and boring. I mean, it was hours and hours and hours of work, and so you can imagine that I didn't make a lot of progress with it during Season 1. I mean, I just didn't really have time to do that. I had cataloged maybe half of Dance's lines and a couple hundred of Nick's by the time Season 1 ended. And then for months, I didn't work on that at all because I had so many other things that demanded my time. But while I was sick, I didn't really have anything else to do. So I cataloged lines for hours every day. And as tedious as it was, it was still better than just lying there staring at the ceiling. So, and I was able to completely finish cataloging all of Dance's lines, all of Nick's, and all of Piper's. Something that would not have happened for a long time if I hadn't gotten sick. And, so getting COVID was almost a godsend in a way, because it forced me into a place where for an entire month, I couldn't do anything else except work on the tedious, time-consuming pre-production stuff that, I hadn't been making much progress with before that, simply because so much other work or other real-life stuff kept me too busy. But when I got sick, all that other, busy stuff stopped, And I was able to just focus 100% on the writing and the planning and the cataloging of lines. So that was definitely an unexpected but much appreciated silver lining to getting sick. But I don't recommend it as a way to catch up on your work. Just, just an FYI. Also, another thing that I did while I was sick was I researched new mods for Season 2 because there are several new things that I wanted to do in Season 2 that required mods to accomplish. Plus, it's actually been over a year since I looked at Fallout 4 mods, and so a lot more have been released since then. And so I just took some time to look at all of them and see if there were any that I might want to use, and I found quite a few. So, I've read about all of them, different ones, and I wrote a list of all of the ones that I wanted to try out once I got better and could, just sit at my desk again. And that's one of the things that I've been doing since I got better. I've been testing mods for at least 2 to 4 hours several days a week. It's really time consuming, especially when there are mod conflicts that I have to figure out and bugs or other weird stuff that happens when you mod your game. But I've also been researching and practicing new techniques, new recording techniques, cinematography techniques, and editing techniques. And so I've been planning on making Season 2 a lot more polished and cinematic than Season 1 of Ellie's Tale. And, that's part of the reason why it's taken me so long to get Season 2 out. I mean, it's been, 11 months since Season 1 ended? Something like that. I can't really remember when Season 1 ended, but it's been almost a year, if not a full year. And so a lot of that was because I just needed a break from it. And so I didn't work on it or even really think about it for many months. But once I did get back into it several months ago, I knew it would be a while still before the episodes were going to air because I had so much work to do to get Season 2 going. Just because of all of the extra stuff that I'm doing to make it better. But it's been a ton of fun. I'm so excited, you guys. I know I keep saying that, but it's only because it's true. My burnout that I had last year is completely gone, and I am super excited. There it is again. To finally start recording new episodes again, and for you guys to finally see the results of all my labor. In fact, I did want to take a moment to show you a little sneak peek on some of the things that I've been working on since I got better. Just so you guys can appreciate the amount of work that's going into Season 2. I've been sharing some of this with my patrons over on the patrons only area of the Discord server. But I think it's time I share some of it with all of you guys because I'm just honestly having a hard time keeping it a secret anymore. So, since I've been better, I can actually get work done on in-game now. I'm actually, loading up the game and doing stuff in there, testing mods, practicing all of my new techniques and stuff that I've been learning. And I've also been planning some new, how do I say this without giving away spoilers? Well, they're not really spoilers, I guess. Not for the story, anyway. They're screenshots of different things that I've been building. And I'm not going to tell you what they are, or what they're for, but they are things that will show up in episodes. But, I'm not even going to tell you which episodes, or how they're connected to anything at all. I'm going to leave that for all of you guys to discover on your own when you watch the season. But if you don't want any sneak peeks at all for Season 2, then go ahead and skip forward to the timestamp that's on the screen right now, and that will skip all of the sneak peeks. So these are some builds I've been working on of different locations that will appear in different episodes. And these locations are meant to be pre-war, okay? And, I won't tell you why. I'm just going to throw that in there. They look pre-war, don't they? Yes. And some of these are custom locations that I made up. And some of them are copies of locations that are actually in the game, and I just made pre-war versions of them. So I'll let you figure out what they are if you want to, but I'm not going to say anything else about them. Anyway, so obviously, it's taken me a long time to build these. I have spent hours upon hours upon hours building these. I usually have, like I said, about 2 to 4 hours most days of the week to work on this kind of thing. And each one of these builds took several days to complete, several sessions to complete. But it's been a ton of fun because I'm so excited about what I've come up with, and I'm really pleased with how they turned out. And I'm really excited about how I'm going to be using these builds in the roleplay, and I can't wait for you guys to see it. Now, a lot of you are probably wondering if I'm going to be making videos on how I built these, build videos, but the answer to that is definitely not. I will definitely not be making build videos of these. These builds were extremely complicated to figure out. And even if I had recorded my progress as I went along, which I didn't, it would be an absolute nightmare to edit that into something cohesive and not, 4 hours long. I did so much trial and error with these builds. At one point, I completely redid one of them 2 different times because I couldn't find the right mods that I needed to complete them. These were all built with mods, by the way. They are 100% modded builds. There really isn't anything vanilla about them because I had to make them look pre-war. So, but sometimes I tried building without the right mods that I needed, and then I would just get to a place where I couldn't finish it with what I had, and so I would search for a mod that gave me what I needed, and then I'd scrap almost the entire thing and rebuild it from scratch with the new mod. So yeah, I did that a couple times with one of them. And if I had recorded all that footage, I would have hours and hours of video to sift through and edit down into something that would probably only end up being semi-decent. And, I really don't want to do that. I don't have time for that. I'd rather spend that time getting my role plays going. I just want to build the things as fast as I can and then use them for their purpose and then move on to the next thing. I don't want to dwell on these builds over long. But you guys will get to see the finished product, and I may sometime down the line make a video of the sort of like a behind the scenes video where I give a tour of these sets that I built. And in the tour, you'll be able to see kind of how I built them. I won't show you like a step-by-step, but I'll explain how I built certain parts of it. So yeah, I don't know when I would make a video like that. It would definitely be after those episodes have aired that these builds appear in, or maybe it might be at the end of season 2, something like that. I don't know. It would be fun to do, another behind the scenes video with a tour. So anyway, that was just a sneak peek of some of the stuff that I've been working on. And that wasn't even all of it. That was just a small peek at some of it because I do want most of it to be a surprise for you guys to discover when you watch the episodes. But I just wanted to show you guys that I am doing a ton of work on my role plays right now. It's really all I'm working on at the moment, and I've been working on some aspect of it for hours almost every day since the beginning of this year. You guys just haven't known about it because it's all been behind the scenes, pre-production stuff, which is why I wanted to do this channel update, so you can know it is going full steam ahead, and I am getting so close to being ready to start recording, and I can't wait. I'm so excited, and I hope you guys can be excited too. There's that word again, excited. I can't say it enough, because that's how excited I am. Season 2 is going to be great. It's going to be levels above Season 1, and I am just really happy about that, because I recently went back and watched some of the earlier episodes of Season 1, and oh man, the cringe I felt. Those first few episodes of Season 1 especially are so bad. At least to me, they are. Because I didn't really know. I mean, it was the first roleplay of its kind that I did on my channel. Because previously I'd only done, how shall I call them? Light role plays, I guess, where I was in character most of the time, but would sometimes leave character to talk about game mechanics or whatever. And even when I was in character, I wasn't putting all of myself into my acting. I was just, I guess it was just more casual all around, even in the acting department. And so that's what Shane's story was like in Fallout 4 and Column's story in Skyrim. But when I set out to do my Fallout 4 roleplay with Ellie, I totally intended it for it to be, Okay, so Shane's playthrough was light role-playing, then Ellie's playthrough is heavy role-playing or hardcore role-playing, whatever you want to call it. I totally meant for it to be a heavy roleplay right from the start. But I was so used to light role-playing, since it's all I'd done before that, that I guess it sort of just transferred over without me realizing it. And it took a few episodes for me to get into the groove of super realistic role-playing. But I eventually got there, I think. Or at least, I was well on the way. And so the later episodes of season 1 are still good, I think. I still enjoy watching those ones anyway. But I would definitely have done the first half of season 1 differently if I knew then what I know now. But, you live and learn. Nothing starts out perfect. You must achieve perfection through trial and error. Am I right? So, I have learned a lot over the last year. I've been spending a lot of time studying and learning new techniques, like I mentioned before, so that I can make season 2 that much better. I definitely want to improve things, improve how I've been doing things. And I've been watching a lot of Rykon role plays. That's helped me a lot. If you haven't heard of him or watched any of his videos, go watch him, you guys. He's amazing. He's way better than me in the role-playing department. He role-plays Skyrim, Fallout 4, Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, Outlast even, and all kinds of other games. I can't even list them all. Anyway, his role plays are amazing because he fully immerses himself into each of his characters. And he's a great actor, and he does different voices and accents for each of his characters, amazingly enough. I can't do that. I suck at different voices, but he's amazing. Anyway, he inspired me a lot because you guys know how I got really burned out in season 1 of Ellie's Tale, and I just had to take a step back, back from it for a while. But the break ended up being a lot longer than I intended because, well, I just couldn't get back into it. I wasn't inspired, I wasn't motivated, I had no idea where to take the story or what Ellie's character arc was going to be going forward, and it really just bummed me out. I mean, there were so many times where I tried to come up with what was going to happen next after the last episode of season 1. There's so many times I sat down and I racked my brain and nothing came to me. So I just put it on the back burner indefinitely. And I focused on getting the Fallout 76 roleplay season 2 going. And that was fine. That really needed to happen anyways. But then around the beginning of December 2020, I started watching Rykon. Well, I'd been watching him, or I'd watched him almost a year before that. But I watched his entire Fallout 4 roleplay, which only had one season at the time. But when I was done with that, I didn't really watch any of his other videos, and I kind of just forgot about his channel for many months because I didn't have time to watch YouTube videos. But then in December, and I was doing Christmas projects, and I kind of like to have something on while I'm doing crafty things, just have something on in the background that I can just glance at every once in a while. And I remembered Rykon's channel. I was like, oh, maybe I should check out one of his other role plays while I'm doing this. I finally have time to watch videos. So I put it on, and the rest is history. So I started watching his Skyrim roleplay next, and boy, that was awesome. And then when I was done with all 5 seasons of that, I watched his 3 seasons of Fallout New Vegas and then the 5 seasons of Fallout 3. I was watching around 2 to 4 of his videos every single day since the beginning of December because they inspired me so much. And at first it was because I was getting ready for Christmas and I was doing Christmas projects, and so I had them on and I just let them play one after the other. And then right after that I got sick, so I watched a lot of them while I was sick. But yeah, they just inspired me a lot. He showed me through his videos, and I even chatted with him a few times, asking him questions about how he did certain things. Since he accomplished things in his roleplays that I didn't even know were possible. And so I picked his brain a lot, and I learned so much from just watching his channel. I studied his videos and got inspired for my own roleplay again. Because I could see the potential. I could see where my roleplay could go from a technical standpoint because I could see where he took his. It was like, if he could do it, I could do it. Totally. So, thank you, Rycon, for giving me what I needed to get back into role-playing and to get excited about it again. Seriously, if it wasn't for your channel, mine would probably have died by now. Anyway, Rycon Roleplays, everyone. Go check it out. I'll leave a link to his channel in the description of this video. A good starting point for diving into his content, by the way, would probably be with his Fallout 4 Ashes series. It's his newest role-playing series right now. But my absolute favorite of his is called Logan's Dawn. It's his Fallout 3 roleplay, and it's just phenomenal. It's a really good example of how great his role plays are. It's a good example of his acting ability and stuff like that. I mean, they're all really good, but that one's just my favorite. And if you like horror, you should definitely watch his role plays of Outlast and Outlast 2. Those are above and beyond anything I've seen a role player do. They're above and beyond anything Rycon has done on his channel. They're like watching a movie. He's such a great actor in those. So, you know, I don't even like horror, but I love those. So yeah, go watch them. If you like my role playing, you will love his too. Okay. You might even love his more, and I would not hold that against you because he deserves it. Anyway, I'll stop talking about Rycon. I can gush about Rycon for, well, until the cows come home, I'm sure. Yeah, there might be a little bit of hero worship there, so what? Anyways, all that to say, again, that I'm just very excited. I need to come up with a synonym for excited. Anyway, Season 2 of Ellie's Tale is going to be so much better than Season 1. So much more immersive and cinematic and emotional than Season 1 could have ever hoped to be. And that's why I just can't wait to show it to you guys. But I will stop talking about that now, because I do have some other things that I wanted to talk about before this video gets super long, and I have a feeling I'm starting to repeat myself. So yeah, let's move on. So I have been working on the new Skyrim roleplay, but not as much, because I really want to get Fallout 4 Season 2 on the channel before I really dive into Skyrim. Skyrim is going to take a lot more work to get started because it's going to be a brand new roleplay, brand new character, brand new story. So I have a lot of stuff from scratch to just come up with, you know. But I did work on it some while I was sick. Like I mentioned before, I did some character backstory and various character arcs that I might want to explore, stuff like that. I think I did mention that already. But I did make quite a bit of progress on that front. And even before I got sick, for like 2 or 3 weeks before I got sick, I was rebuilding my Skyrim game since I got a new PC since the last time I played it. So I had to reinstall the game, and then I had to update all my mods since I hadn't used any of them in over 3 years. And then I had to install new ones that are really specific for the new roleplay, and I had to test them. And I think I mentioned all of this in my last channel update. I can't remember if I did or not, but there you go. There it is again. I really just spent the first week of last December and the first week of January just testing Skyrim mods. And I'm not even done with it. I did put Skyrim on the back burner for a while until I can finish Fallout 4 Season 2. And by finish, I mean finish pre-production and get it actually on the channel. I don't mean finish the entire Season 2. But so far I'm really loving my new Skyrim load order, my mod load order. The game looks and feels absolutely amazing now. Now, back when I started my first Skyrim roleplay on the channel, like years ago, the special edition had just come out, basically, and so there weren't a lot of mods available for it yet. I mean, it didn't even have a script extender yet. And the only mod manager that worked with it at the time was the very outdated and no longer supported Nexus mod manager. So modding Skyrim special edition back then, or at least modding it well, was a challenge, to say the least. And if I remember right, I had quite a few little mod issues happening in my episodes. But it is much easier now. And there are so many more mods available. Mods that I was used to using in old Skyrim had been ported over since then. Not all of them. Not all of the old Skyrim mods are available on the special edition even now, for some reason. But some of them I really, really wanted. Like, I used them in the past, I knew what they were like, and I just, oh, those would be perfect for my roleplay. But they weren't available. They're not available on special edition yet, and I was so bummed. So I just learned how to port mods to the special edition myself so that I wouldn't have to give up on the otherwise great ideas that I had for the story. I'm not sure how many I ported so far, but it's well over a dozen, and most of the ports have worked great. So I've got the best of both worlds in my Skyrim game right now, and it's really exciting. Yeah, I can't wait to get back into it. I'm starting to be really conscious of the word exciting. Oh dear. Oh, and by the way, you guys can thank Rykon for my upcoming Skyrim roleplay too, since it was 100% inspired by his Skyrim roleplay. Not the story of it, but just the idea of having a roleplay in Skyrim. You know, since as soon as I started watching his Skyrim roleplay, I got all nostalgic for Skyrim, since I hadn't played it in a few years, and it made me want to play it again, so I did, just for fun. I was playing it, you know, privately for fun, but the more I played it for fun, the more I wanted to share it with you guys. So there you go. Thank you, Rykon, again. But for now, production of the Skyrim roleplay is on hold so that I can focus on getting Fallout 4 going. And that's why The Last of Us 2 is also on a break, because I just really want to focus 100% on Fallout 4 until pre-production is over and I'm recording episodes. Because I'm splitting my attention between, you know, 3 different things, it's just going to make everything take longer. So once that's up and running, I'll turn my attention back to The Last of Us, and I'll probably just spend a couple days recording all the rest of the episodes until I'm finished with the game, and then continue uploading them once a week as I've been doing. And I'll also start focusing on Skyrim again. And once I'm ready to start recording Skyrim, I'm just going to do it. I'm not going to wait for any particular window. Like, I'm not going to wait until Fallout 76 is over or Fallout 4 is over. My plan is to have all 3 roleplays going simultaneously, okay? I've always only had 2 role-playing series going at a time on my channel because that was all I had time for, because I was also doing build videos and tips and tricks videos. But now that I've dropped the build videos and tips and tricks, I have more time to focus on roleplays, which was the whole point. And now I can have more than 2 at a time. So yeah, but you know, that'll be much later on, because it's going to be a while before the Skyrim one is out, since it's going to require a lot of pre-production. Since, as I mentioned in my last channel update in January, I will be making some of my own mods for that one. And so that's going to take some extra time. Now, there is going to be something that will slow down the process for all of this for a little while coming up soon. Something in my real life, and I just thought I'd let you all know. My family has to move to a new house by the end of April. We currently rent, and our landlord informed us, right when we were sick with COVID even, that he was selling our house and we have to move. Yay! That was not something we were planning on doing. So we've been scrambling to find a new house, but it's been very hard because the real estate market is insane where we live right now. Prices are skyrocketing and houses are sold in just a few days after being listed, because so many people are moving to northern Idaho from California, mostly, but also Oregon and Washington, and it is driving the market like a freight train. Most rental houses have like almost a dozen applicants trying to get them, and houses for sale are all having bidding wars. We've been already turned down a few times, and more often than not, we just can't get our applications in fast enough before the house is off the market, even if we apply the day the ad was posted. It's absolutely insane. So it's been a real challenge to find a place. We've been looking for a couple months now, and we're running out of time. So as you can imagine, it's been pretty stressful, and it's taking a lot of our time as well, because we have to go look at places, and we're always having to, you know, look at ads and stuff like that. And it's all kind of time consuming. And then once we finally do get a house, we'll be in full swing to move. And that will be a disruption for a while. So I'm just telling you guys all this so that you know why I may miss some videos once in a while, especially coming up in April. Or why it might be taking extra long to get Fallout 4 going, because I'm probably going to have to quit pretty much all work on that while I'm moving. Because, there's just a lot going on in real life right now. And, I don't mind telling you guys about it as long as you guys don't mind hearing it. So I really just like being open and honest with you guys. Anyway, I think that's about all the news that I had to tell you in this update. And I'm afraid this video has gotten quite long. If you've watched all the way through until now, thank you very much. I appreciate you a lot, and so does my channel. If you liked this video, please give it a like, leave a comment. In fact, you know what? Do both. I would really appreciate it if you did both. Leave a comment and a like, because both helps out my channel a lot more if you do that together. Leaving just a like helps, it does. And leaving just a comment helps, but doing both together makes the YouTube algorithm that much happier. And ring that bell too, that helps as well. Any kind of interaction with a video or a channel helps that channel. And the more interaction by a single person, the better. It just tells YouTube that people really like my channel and like my content, and that makes them promote my videos more so that people just see them, so more people see them, So, just your friendly YouTube PSA for the day. Actually, a second YouTube PSA, because that just reminded me that I've been meaning to mention something before now, but I just keep forgetting. Several of you guys have been bringing up the fact that my videos are full of ads now, and that they didn't used to be. And that's true. I have always had only one single ad at the beginnings of all of my videos. But I never liked putting ads in the middles of my videos because I can't stand watching videos that have ads in the middle of them. They're often placed in really bad moments that totally disrupt the flow of the video, especially if it's an unskippable ad. So I never put ads in the middle of my videos for that reason, because I don't want to subject others to something I myself hate. However, YouTube recently changed the way they do things, and now I really don't have a choice about ads. So since I started my channel, there's always been this little box that you check if you don't want to put ads in the middle of your videos. It's unchecked automatically, and you have to check it if you don't want ads. And I've always made sure to check it. But now YouTube has decided to be sneaky, and even if I do check the box, YouTube will still put ads in the middle of my videos, whether I want them to or not. It's not even giving me a choice anymore. I'm quite upset about that, actually. So I am very sorry about that. I wish there was something I could do about it, but there doesn't seem to be. I've even gone back after I noticed that ads are appearing on videos where I specifically checked the box. I even went back to make sure that I checked it. And there it is, checked, still getting ads. So go figure. Also, I don't have any control over what types of ads YouTube puts on my videos or how long they are. I've had several people complain to me that the ads on my videos were too long, or they were about things that they didn't want to see or whatever. And I'm sorry, but you'll have to complain to YouTube about that, because it is completely out of my control about what kinds of ads or how long they are that are on my videos. I have absolutely no control, and they're different for everybody. I mean, the ads that you see when you watch one video will be completely different from the ads another person sees when they watch the same video in the same hour, because they're based on your own personal search engine results and different things that you do on the internet. They're tailored to you, more or less. But honestly, if it was up to me, my videos would have only one ad at the very beginning of the video that is less than 30 seconds long every single time. And I wish it was true. I wish I could be in control of that. Anyways, I just wanted to let you guys know those things, because I think that most people aren't really aware of what goes on behind the scenes at YouTube and how things work in regards to how ads and likes and comments and stuff like that work. Because unless you have a YouTube channel of your own, that's not just something that you know. because YouTube doesn't really make that public knowledge. It's only for creators to know that stuff because it affects them. So every now and then I do like to tell you guys about it, sort of give you a little YouTube education, because I do get a lot of people asking me about this stuff, and you know, especially on like what are the ways that they can help my channel out. And so that's just some of the ways. If you can't afford to become a patron, leaving a comment and a like together helps a ton, and watching the ads all the way to the end. I don't get revenue from the ads if you skip them. That's another thing that a lot of people don't understand. Just because an ad appears on my video doesn't mean I'm getting revenue from it. You have to actually watch the ad all the way to the end in order for me to get revenue. So I know that's hard to do with ads, especially when YouTube decides to give you a 5-minute documentary about coffee beans right before the video. I seriously don't blame you guys if you skip those. Really, I don't blame you one bit. Anyway, that is all I have for you today. Check the description for links to my social media, my Patreon, my merch store, and Rycon Roleplay's channel. And I will keep you guys updated on further developments with everything that I've talked about today, and I'll be posting regularly in the community tab and on the Discord, like I mentioned before. So don't forget to check out the community tab for the most update information. All right, I will see you guys next time, and until then, remember to play safe, play nice, and have fun. Bye, guys.